Good afternoon. My name is Jim Perry, and I'm a native of Lenoir County. I spent the majority of my childhood in Deep Run, Jackson Heights, and Sandy Bottom. I'm a graduate of South Lenoir High School and Lenoir Community College. I'm not an elected official, CPA, or attorney. I'm just a taxpayer with a family, just like you. I've spent some time studying our population trends in Lenoir County as well as our county budget. And it was interesting to me as we look at the county budget and what is going on with the population. We see that the county budget has continued to grow exponentially over time, while the Lenoir County population totals have remained flat to decline at best, based upon this graph. If we stack this information on top of each other and change the population totals to be represented by these blue bars, we can see the visual representation that population has remained flat to decline. And if we then overlay the budget dollars, or what we've been spending, with this burgundy line, we can see the population's flat to decline, but the spend continues to grow exponentially. We put it all together, we can see what I think is the real issue, and it's in the top right corner. You can see that our spending continues to go up, 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 and while we have fewer taxpayers. This is over a 20-year period, so by anyone's definition, this is a trend and not one that can be sustained. Our population has declined by 3% since 1997. The Lenoir County budget has increased by 42% since 1997. Lenoir County spend per person has increased by 47% since 1997. So we've had population decline, the budget continues to grow up, and the spend per person has to go up because you have fewer people. During that same time frame, our property tax rate has increased by 16.5%. So the amount of property, or the property tax base available, has increased by 20% during the same time period. We had I believe that was a revaluation in '09. We had some new plants come in. They are a gift when it comes to ad valorem taxes. So that helped grow our tax base, and that really offset the loss that you see on the far right in fiscal year 17 and 18, when the property values declined when we did a revaluation. And just so everyone understands, those revaluations are based upon comparable sales. So no one did a bad thing to any of us. That's just the reality that we face. There are more people selling than buying, and values have gone down. A little bit about the budget. Every year, the county manager prepares a budget and presents it to the county commissioners. This is posted online. I would encourage all of you to go find it. It includes a budget message that makes things a little easier to understand. And a few things jump out at me about the budget message that I wanted to share. First of all, there is a note that indicates that the amount of fund balance appropriated in this budget is not sustainable. And what does that mean? The fund balance is, think of it as how much money you leave in your checking account left over, just in case something goes wrong, you need to have some rainy day funds. So the indication is that we will face a substantial property tax increase and or a severe reduction in services. So it's a good warning. But I look back through the history of county budgets, and while I have seen property tax increases, while I have seen spending increases, I've never seen a severe reduction in services. Typically, there's no political will for that in a community. No one wants to be thought of as the bad person, but this trend is unsustainable. There's also a note that indicates what our total budget was, what the general fund budget was, $68 million. And it tells you what the amount of the appropriation was. It was almost $4.1 million. So we pulled $4.1 million out of our savings account in order to continue doing what we wanted to do. There's also a note that indicates, it's talking about the property tax revaluation and the value loss of $250 million, $267 billion, just above this note. But the property taxes that were lost were 1.9 million, 1.97 is just above that bottom red line there. Well, we received a sales tax increase of 1.2 million, so the difference in those two is really a little less than $800,000. It's just something to be aware of and understand. We we had some extra money coming in because we all paid a tax increase in 2016 when the state expanded the sales tax to include services. All of us began paying more taxes, and more taxes began coming back to Lenoir County. Additionally, we had some lawmakers in the General Assembly who said, you know, small towns are hurting. We need to redo this distribution formula to give them some extra money. So that's what's going on there. This next note is interesting, and please forgive me, but it bothers me. And I've seen notes of this nature for quite a while now. It references positioning us to recover from the recession. And that bothers me because I don't believe that it is a realistic comment. I believe our world has changed. I think urbanization greatly impacts small communities. I know we were impacted by the recession. Sure we were. But I don't believe we can have the thought that we're going to have this magic recovery and a lot of people are going to move here and things will be booming again and the heyday of the DuPont era is going to come back. I don't think we can think that way. I think our world has changed because of urbanization and what's going on. You know, half the population growth in the last 10 years being in Wake and Mecklenburg County and everyone moving to big counties. Urbanization is a real issue. It's nationwide. It's not just here in North Carolina. We're certainly impacted, but this is our new reality. Our world has changed on us. We need to prepare for that reality. We need to position our community in a way that we're not overspending. We're not overtaxing. We're going to have less people to care for. We're going to have less people to help us pay for things. It's a reality that may not be politically popular, but we need to be big boys and girls and deal with what is, not what seems flowery and fun. The urban-rural divide is real. You know, what's going on to Lenoir County, it's not just here. It's not because we made bad decisions. It's a real phenomenon going on all around the country, and certainly in North Carolina, we've seen huge effects from it. Which brings me to the Woodmen Information. I do not hate or dislike anyone involved with the Woodmen. I'm not anti-Woodmen. I have no problems with anyone in city government and county government. For me, this is about our community and doing what's best for us. And I believe everyone needs to understand what's going on with the Woodmen Center. I think that there has been, for my liking, too much secrecy involved. I think that we need to be much more transparent with the financial situation, with the possible impact in the future. You are doing the people's business. We should do it in front of the people. And we should not allow anyone to come into our community and hotbox us for a decision or try to back us in a corner or push us around or misrepresent things to the members of our community. We just need full transparency on it. There is some bad information that has gone around about the Woodmen. I've heard about, how profitable it is, and you make $400 grand a year or 600,000, and we reviewed this and that. And I don't do well with pie in the sky projections. I like to understand what's going on. These are the audited Woodmen financial statements. They do include debt service on the center. This top number doesn't have depreciation, but you can see it. You can see what's happened to the net assets or what the cash flow has been from operating activities. And when you see a number in brackets like that on an income statement or any type of cash flow statement, it means that number's negative. It's not positive. That's a negative number. Also, something very confusing about the Woodmen regarding the financial statements and the way they interact with the city of Kingston. I just read that the city of Kingston indicated we pay $18,000 a year for an insurance policy. The Woodmen shows, different numbers on their financial statements. The city of Kingston shows last year no payment for insurance. There is a note on this financial statement that indicates, hey, some of these things in red, we don't know what they're going to be in the future. We're just making you aware of them. And I also want to say I have nothing but respect for the individual who prepares these for the city. I have met her. I find her to be very, very intelligent, very capable. I don't think she's doing anything wrong. I don't think anyone's doing anything wrong regarding these income statements or financial statements and projections. I just think they're very confusing. Look at these marketing expenses, marketing and advertising. We've been saying, hey, we spent $50,000, 49,283 in 2016. We spent 70 grand in 2015. And then go to the city of Kingston, what they showed for actual and projected, and the numbers are very different. That's confusing. It's very confusing. Look at repairs and maintenance. I think these are different because maybe they were over $5,000 each, and the Woodman has to pay for them by contract today. But you can see they spent $129,911 in 2016. They spent $141,458 in 2015. We don't see any of those expenses, and we do show these transfers, capital fund transfers in the future, and the footnotes indicate, it would be for things of that nature, but they're also going down in time. And it's tough for me to think that a building that ages is going to go down. So again, Woodman's financials, it's just confusing. There are 3 buckets. I don't think anyone's doing anything wrong or being misleading, but we just need to understand what it is. There's also comments about the water park being a cash cow, and feel free to pause this presentation so you can see the numbers. I'm going to run through it quickly. I added up all the water park revenue. I added up all the water park expenses. I deducted expenses to try to make it look better, things that wouldn't be there in the future. So I have water park revenue. I have modified expenses. I deducted part of management in general, and there's your theoretical profit on the Woodman. So cash cow? You do the math, you decide. Don't listen to me, but don't listen to somebody else that may not understand accounting either. There's also allegedly a contract going around that everyone's not aware of. And if this is in fact the agreement, and it is the agreement with the Woodman, if it is, then this looks to me like they can't take that water park if they want to. But we'll have to leave that to the lawyers and the attorney, everyone involved to let us know what's really going on. But this is just an example. If this is real, shouldn't we all know about it? Shouldn't our leaders know about it? Here's the problem. Lenoir County budget has increased by 42% since 1997. Think of that as our spend horse. Our population's declined. Our taxpayer horse can never catch the spend horse. In fact, this taxpayer horse in the rear should be turning backwards, right? Because it's a negative number. The spin horse moves at too fast a rate as compared to the rate of the taxpayer horse. Our property taxes are already top 12 out of 100 counties. You see us down at the bottom. If we just have a 1 cent increase, we're going to be in top 8. I think our reality is we don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. That horse, the spending horse, has been running faster for years. So as a community, we're best served by understanding the reality of the world we face today. According to every available data point, our population will continue to decline, resulting in fewer taxpayers available to pay the bills. How many of you would buy new things or be buying things on credit if you knew you'd have less ability to pay for something in the future? I think we can all agree that this is not an indication of fiscally responsible decision making. So what can you do? You can communicate with your elected officials. It does make a difference. If you think these are the wrong decisions, you need to let them know. If you think they're the right decisions, you need to let them know. But you do need to communicate with your elected officials. You need to make your voice heard. You can be nice when you do it, but they need to hear from people in our community. So I hope you found this information helpful. Please feel free to reach out to me if you'd like any clarification on any of this data. The majority of it came from the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, and some of it was pulled from a local website. So I hope you all have a good day, and thank you for taking time to learn more about your community.